Hi and welcome to another Behind the Stars, and what a star we have at this in this interview. No, it's definitely you, Paul.
Hello.
How are you? Paul Zerdin, everyone, ventriloquist.
Very well, thank you. It's good to be here. How are you?
Very well, Paul. Absolutely love the show.
Thank you.
And I wanted to find out the history of Paul Zerdin leading up to and including America's Got Talent, the winner of
America's Got Talent. Okay, well, where do you want to start?
I do remember you on the TV many years ago. So you have actually been a ventriloquist and in the entertainment industry for quite a while.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the roots, because you said, I know we did the Meet the Stars, and you were talking about you actually started out as a magician.
Yes.
So how did we go from magician to ventriloquism?
So I was always interested in puppets and comedy and, you know, very childish stuff at an early age. And Sesame Street and the Muppets were my were my sort of inspiration. And at about the age of 9 or 10, I was given a magic set for Christmas.
Paul Daniels?
It wasn't a Paul Daniels magic set, but I was a massive fan of his television show.
Yes.
Because not just because of him, and he was brilliant, but he had lots and lots of speciality acts and variety acts on from around the world, Vegas, all over the place. So I was always aware of these most amazing, you know, people. And so I took to the magic set quite quickly and annoyed the hell out of my family with card tricks and all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
And then I saw a ventriloquist on the television, a British ventriloquist called Ray Allen.
Legend.
And he had a character called Lord Charles.
Yes.
And I saw him on the Paul Daniels show, and he blew me away. I'd never seen anything like it. And I love the Muppets. I love puppets, and I'd never seen, you know, the puppeteers on the Muppets were always hiding underneath, and you know, you never saw them. You just saw the puppets above. And I thought, wow, that's a way of doing puppetry and comedy, and I can still be the star as well. You know, I can be in vision. So when I saw Ray, and I thought, oh, that's ventriloquism. Okay. That's something I need to explore, and I was given a book on how to become a ventriloquist, written by Ray Allen.
Brilliant.
And it was a very simple kids book, and it told you exactly how to talk without moving your lips. Yeah. And so I practiced that for a couple of years. I left school with no GCSEs.
Which we all do, let's be honest, well, that's all of us.
It seems to be a common story. And I got drama. I got drama in English, and that was it. And I got like a U for history, a F for maths. I mean, I was terrible because I was busy doing close-up magic at the weekends, earning money and doing children's parties and all that kind of thing. So, you know, I was more interested in making money, and I could earn a living without needing to go on to further education or whatever. And so I became a professional magician. And I was learning the ventriloquism at the time, and I went to see an agent, got a list of agents, looked it up, and literally got one agent that replied to me. I sent off, you know, 10 by 8s and all that kind of stuff, which is what people used to do before the internet.
Love it.
And this woman came back and she said, come in and meet me. And you know, I said, I'm a magician. She said, what have you got that's different? Because at the time there were loads of magicians around, and in fact now there's more than ever.
Absolutely.
And she said, what have you got that's different? So I said, well, I'm learning ventriloquism. And she said, well, come back when you've got an act. So that kind of made me, sort of spurred me on to go, right, I'm going to try this ventriloquism more seriously. I eventually phased out the magic, brought in the puppets and the comedy. Although the magic I was doing was kind of silly magic, it was kind of more Tommy Cooper than David Copperfield.
That's a great name drop there, Tommy Cooper. Love a bit of Tommy Cooper.
So it wasn't, you know, it was funny. It was taking the mickey out of magic, and so that's what I liked. But I still used to do some illusions as well. But I liked the comedy side of it. But I stopped doing the magic, started more with the ventriloquism, and she got me a gig on a cruise line when I was about 17.
Yeah.
And it was in Scandinavia, and it was literally it was a sort of a posh ferry, really, going backwards and forwards between Helsinki and Stockholm. And I used to do 2 shows a day, and it was the most amazing experience. And then I did holiday camps and working men's clubs and clubs and gigs and private functions, and it just sort of snowballed, really. Yeah. And then I got a gig as a presenter on children's television on GMTV.
GMTV, right, so let's talk about that, because I remember seeing you on TV, and I remember seeing you with Sam. You've had Sam quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've been with Sam quite a while. So talk about those early TV appearances before we get to the America's Got Talent.
So I had, I wrote off to an advert in the Stage, and they were looking for presenters, and I literally had a little video camera at home, and I recorded myself and my then puppet. I had a puppet who looked very much like Ernie from Sesame Street.
Brilliant.
And he was called Gus, and he had an American accent, and I just literally sat in front of the camera and I just did my act with the puppet. And I sent off a VHS show reel And I got an interview, and I got an audition, and then I got another audition, and I got the job, and I became a presenter on Saturday mornings. It was made by Disney for GMTV, and we used to introduce cartoons such as Count Duckula and Rosie and Jim and the Muppet
Count
Babies,
Duckula.
all that kind of stuff. We used to do the links between them, and I did that for a couple of years on GMTV, and that was the most amazing experience to be paid to learn, really.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
And then that got me into doing pantomime.
Now, panto, I've talked to a lot of our entertainers of how important pantomime is in the theatre world.
Yeah.
And you know, the sellouts of the pantomime is what keeps the theatres open a lot for the year.
Yeah, it's a big earner for the theatre. Yeah. And also, it's the most amazing thing because the first time I ever did pantomime was, you know, when I was about, I don't know, it must have been about 20.
Yep.
And you're thrown into this cast. Where you're booked to do what you do. So I was doing ventriloquism and the comedy, and I was playing Buttons in Cinderella. But you're turning up working with, you know, proper West End people and, you know, singers and dancers that have spent years training. Now I can't sing, I can't dance, but suddenly you're just thrown into this mix where you just get on with it and you kind of blag it.
Yeah.
And I've done panto for, I think this year at the Palladium. I'm at the London Palladium.
Nice.
In Snow White, and it's my 3rd year in pantomime at the London Palladium, and I think this will be my 24th pantomime.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing thing. I spend all year gigging, going all over the world on cruise ships, doing my own tours, touring in America, Canada, all over the place, and I spend an hour and a half on stage talking to myself.
Yes.
There's no one else there.
No.
It's just me and these characters, just talking to my hand, basically. And so at Christmas, when you come in and you're on stage with a cast of real people, it's an absolute joy to be, you know, interacting with other people that I'm not operating.
Brilliant.
And so it's really refreshing, and I love that. And that's 2 months of the year.
Good stuff. So talk about some of these names you've worked with. Come on, I want some name drops. That's what we're looking for, Paul.
Okay,
I'm ready to catch them.
Let's try and think. Well, at the London Palladium in Snow White this year, I'll be alongside Julian Clary.
Oh, hang on, let me just catch that one. Oh, there we go, that's a good one.
And that'll be my my 4th pantomime with Julian.
Good stuff.
Nigel Havers, who's
Coronation Street.
He's Coronation Street.
Oh,
yeah.
there we go. Just
there
catch
you
that
go.
one.
Amongst other things. And Gary Wilmot.
Oh, now he was, I remember Gary growing up. Gary, massive, music theatre, comedians.
Wow. He can do everything.
Wow.
He's a very talented man, and he's a joy to work with. This year we're with Dawn French, who I've met.
That might be a little, just because, little Dawn French, massive name in comedy as well.
Yeah, big.
My
she's
wife's
a big
desperate
deal.
to come and see this panto. We need to have a little discussion after this about us coming to your panto.
Well, we open, I think, on the 9th of December, Snow White at the London Palladium, and until about the 13th of January.
Wow.
So we'll have to sort that out. But yeah, in pantomime, I mean, a few years ago I worked with Stephanie Beacham. At the Birmingham Hippodrome. And
I'm not going to catch that one yet.
Another panto. Susan Hampshire. These are you know, proper actors and actresses.
I feel uncultured now that I don't know these people. I apologise.
Okay, Patrick Duffy.
Ooh!
From Dallas.
Yes!
Yeah, I did panto with him a few years ago. It's just funny. It's the strangest thing, panto, because it just throws together a whole real mixture of people. You know, some of those people have become, you know, very, very good friends.
Oh. See, I was on Sheffield, you see. Growing up, I went to the Sheffield panto, so it was Bobby Nutt. He was always
at the Lyceum?
Yes, absolutely. So every year I used to always go panto there. Yeah. And panto is such a great thing for kids growing up because it introduces them to theatre and theatre life and everything that goes on in the theatre. So it's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's all about the comedy. There is a rough storyline, but and we use that as an excuse to put the comedy in all the way through, because that's what people remember when you come out. That, you know, that they had a good laugh, and that's very important.
Yeah. So now this is all that the entertainment life that you've had, and you've had all these auditions when you were growing up. And I remember the Stage magazine because I used to always. That's how I got my first original entertainment job many years ago, was through the Stage magazine. So now, then we have to start getting to. I mean, it was a game changer. So we've got America's Got Talent. So what was the decision process that you thought, right, I'm going to go and give America's Got Talent a go instead of the British Got Talent?
Well, having done the Royal Variety Show a number of times, I thought that if I rocked up on Britain's Got Talent, it would kind of look like I'm sort of cheating in a way, because I've already, that's the prize for winning Britain's Got Talent, is to appear on the Royal, and so I've already done that a number of times. So I thought America is a totally different market, much bigger market. You know, why not give it a go? And the plan was to just kind of nip over to America, have a go at this competition. If it didn't work out, I can just nip back, and no one is any the wiser.
Yeah.
And what I forgot about was social media.
Yep.
And the fact is that everyone knows everything
Absolutely.
about everyone all the time, all over the world. So you can't keep any secrets. Luckily, my audition went very well.
Yes.
And I came back for the next round. But funny enough, I was on a cruise ship in Norway, and I'd recorded the first audition. The first part is, section is sort of pre-recorded, and then you get into, if you're lucky enough, you get to the live shows, which are live.
Yeah.
And my first audition went out when I was sitting in an internet cafe in the fjords.
Nice.
I was up the fjords in Norway, and
that's not a euphemism. That's an actual place.
Yeah. And I literally was just checking my emails and things, and my audition had gone out the night before. And there was a woman sitting opposite me, and you know how you're on YouTube and things, you get these new sort of clips that pop up from big shows like America's Got Talent. Anyway, my audition came up, and I saw the woman watching me on her iPad.
Brilliant.
And then she was watching, and then she looked up at me and sort of did a double take. And I was literally in front of her, and she's just watched my clip from the night before. It was really bizarre.
Weird.
It was really bizarre. And then I went back and did another audition and got a golden buzzer.
Yeah.
Then got through to the live shows. And the rest is history.
So let's talk about the process that you have to go through for the auditions that a lot of entertainers have to go through, because we think that the end product is you stepping on stage, everyone thinks it's amazing, but the audition process you have to go to, what kind of a mindset do you have to go through to get into that audition process?
That's interesting actually, because I've been going for a while.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it for a while, and America's Got Talent is open to anybody.
Yes.
You can be professional, you can be semi-professional, you can be an amateur. It doesn't matter. You just literally go and audition, and if they like you, you carry on. You get through. And the judges, encourage you to go through if they like you, and then it becomes an audience vote.
Perfect.
And so it doesn't matter as long as you can do what you do. If you're good at it.
Yep.
That's all that matters really. So you can be professional, and I've been a professional for.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them the amount of years.
Must have been. I don't know. I mean, when I turned up on America's Got Talent, I'd been doing it for 25 years.
Right.
And so some people say, well, that's cheating. Well, it's not really, because that's what I do, and it's an opportunity. It's a showcase. And the thing is, with performing now and television, entertainment, particularly for variety.
And that's what we keep talking about in these clips, is the variety of entertainment.
Yes,
yeah.
and there isn't much of it around on television these days, and so the talent show format is a way of getting seen and getting some exposure if you do well.
Yes.
And so, but you have to take a kind of back step in a way, because you audition and you turn up, and you're there at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was at the Dolby Theatre, and I didn't do anything until 9 o'clock at night. Oof. And they recorded, I think, 2 shows a day, and I was in the second show. And I'm sitting around, and there's a bloke juggling, pigeons behind me, and there's people dressed as clowns, and there's chickens, and there's dance troupes. It's chaos. It's just, what you see, all those montages of all the different acts. That's what's going on, and you're sitting there waiting to do something. And so you kind of, I could have gone, oh, this isn't right. This is, I've got a successful career. Why am I putting myself through this? Yeah. But something kept me, spurred me on and made me think, right, I've got to actually just shut up and just wait your turn, go out and see what they say and what happens. And so I walked on stage for the first audition, and I thought, this is a gamble, because if I'd have got a,
absolutely,
and they said, no, I'm sorry, we don't like you,
you're not good enough after 25 years. You're not good enough.
That would be a bummer.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I took the risk, and I just thought sometimes you've got to take a risk in life, and you've got to go for it, and I did, and it worked, and I felt confident because I'm experienced.
Yeah.
But however, I haven't put myself in a position where people are behind a panel judging me. I haven't done that I've never done that really, apart from the odd audition.
Yes.
Which is a while ago, and so there was a risk, but I somehow just felt, I felt very comfortable.
Brilliant. That's good stuff. So now you've hit the exposure of America's Got Talent. This makes you now world famous instead of just being something. Well, it does.
World famous.
And you think about where America's Got Talent now goes out to. It goes out to the whole world. We get America's Got Talent in the UK. It goes out to Australia.
True.
It goes out to China, the Asia. So now and this is where they get to the point, especially with the video that we're filming, is how lucky we are to have you performing and how you choose Royal Caribbean, because we've talked about it before, because the entertainment, we're very passionate at Royal Caribbean about the entertainment that we have and giving variety to our guests on board when they're around. And when I saw your name on the list, I'm like, what?
Who?
No, not in any way. No, you've just done some name drops now. Forever when I meet my friends, I'll be like, I met Paul Zerdin. I'll catch my own name drop. That's where you are in the entertainment world. You are the best of the best, and you've chose Royal Caribbean to come and do your shows. I mean, so thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure.
Yes.
I genuinely love working on Royal Caribbean. I always say Caribbean, but it's Caribbean, really, isn't it?
Well, I do say Caribbean.
I
never say Caribbean. I apologise.
Yeah, Caribbean. Yeah. Royal Caribbean. Whatever it is, I genuinely love working on these ships because the theatres are beautiful.
We really do have the best.
The audiences are fantastic, and there's a great vibe on the ship. It's very relaxed. I've worked on lots of cruise lines, and I have to say, this is probably my favourite.
Oh, there was a lot. I like the pause and I like the eyes as we meant that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we try very hard to make sure that there's that experience and that ambience when they come on board and stuff like that. So now, honestly, great show. 2 packed houses.
Thank you.
You absolutely stormed it. Fantastic. The bit we talked about in the middle, I really thought that was hilarious with the mastermind. I thought that was fantastic. Great stuff. So let's talk about the future of Paul Zerdin, because we were talking backstage and about possible world tour.
Well, the thing is, like you said, America's Got Talent has a massive reach, so that show gets shown in, I don't know how many countries, but it's a lot. And so, on social media now, I get messages from people all over the world saying, when are you going to come and see us in, I don't know, Jakarta or Philippines, or, just places, places that you just wouldn't think about going to. And so I'm just about to confirm a tour in Asia.
Yeah.
I can't say any more than that.
All right, okay.
But we are just putting it all together, and it's very exciting because there's places that I haven't been to. I've had the absolute pleasure of going to places like Hong Kong before,
yep.
And a very good friend of mine runs a very successful comedy company.
Brilliant.
Called Punchline Comedy, and he takes comedians from around the world and takes them to places like Hong Kong and Singapore.
Amazing.
And so I'm going to do a tour of Asia at some point next year.
Brilliant.
And I'm very, very, very excited about it, and hopefully going to get to go to Australia. So I've never been to Australia.
Lovely place.
And there's been a couple of opportunities where I've been asked to go, and I haven't been able to go because I've already had other commitments. I'm going back to America to do some more gigs.
Yes.
And that's the place I love, and Canada as well.
Good stuff.
And so I feel very very lucky, very fortunate to be able to do what I do,
now,
and
do you
get
see
to
it
take
as
it
luck?
all over.
I've got a question for you, because I always question the idea of luck. Do you see it as luck, or do you see it as I've worked and crafted to get where I am? Luck would suggest you don't have any part of it, but I mean, look at the amount of practice, the amount of time you've spent for your craft, which you are one of the finest at it. Do you think there's still a luck of element on that, or do you think no, I've really tried really hard to get where I am?
No, you have to work. You have to work hard. I mean, it's a full-time business.
Yeah.
So you've got the performing, which happens at night, but then you've got working on material.
Yeah.
You've got learning the craft, which is you're constantly hopefully getting better and better and better.
Absolutely.
And then there's that business side of things where you have to look at where you're going, how your diary's looking,
of course.
your management, what they're doing for you. You've really got to keep your eye on the ball the whole time. So
Absolutely.
It's more than just a full-time job. It's like an obsession in a way.
You have to make it, yes.
But luckily, it's my hobby, and so I'm lucky enough to be able to do my hobby for a living.
There we go.
But I still have to work hard at it.
Yes. I think that's it. No, because a lot of people say, you're so lucky at what you do, and I'm like, I made choices and definitely sacrifices to get to do what we do, so absolutely. No, that's a great way of looking at it. Good stuff. Well, look, thank you very much. So a final question for you. For any of our families on board or any of our kids, if they think, well, this is something that I want to do, what is your tips for any of our kids wanting to get into entertainment?
Well, these days I would say the talent show is probably a good way to find out if you've got any talent.
Right.
And if you've got a leaning towards something that's different and an act that could be entertaining for an audience, then. For example, you know, on a cruise line, you sometimes have talent competitions.
We do, actually, we do. Yeah, on the longer cruises and those kind of things, and especially on repositions and things like that.
Yeah.
We do, and we think for a lot of our guests that come and see it, we think it is a good way.
Yeah.
To put yourself in the fear of somebody else.
That's absolutely right, and you know, you have to. Sometimes you just have to go for it, and you know, wherever you are. In the world, you'll find there'll be somewhere that you can have there'll be a talent competition.
Yep.
If not the Got Talent thing, I mean that's everywhere anyway. So you know, Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent. There's Got Talent from around the world, all over the place. So you know, you have to just go and have a go. And I think it's something that should be encouraged because you don't know until you try.
No, that is a big part of it. You have to and it's about taking feedback as well. If you're not, it's not about not being good enough at that time. It's about, and we talked about what happened to me a few years ago with an audition. They are terrifying, but you have to understand that maybe today is not the day, but I can learn from that experience and then get better. And that is everything that we do.
Yeah, and
it's baby steps.
Absolutely, and if it doesn't go well, that doesn't mean to say that you're not any good.
Yes.
You don't be put off. You've got to have some. You've got to have some bad gigs.
You have to learn from the bad.
You totally do, and you learn more from a bad gig than you do from a good gig in a way.
You really do.
And you learn very quickly. I remember when I was doing working men's clubs and holiday camps, and I just hadn't expected that you know, kids running around, people chatting at the bar, and you have to somehow get everyone's attention and keep it for 45 minutes. And I remember, you know, in the early days, driving home from somewhere. Where was I? Coming back from somewhere like Skegness or Cleethorpes or somewhere, you know, where there was, you know, it was a known sort of training ground for for comedians and performers. And I was driving home in the car, just thinking, why am I putting myself through that when I'd had someone throw an ashtray at me and telling me to get off in other words.
Maybe not those polite words.
Yeah, and you know, you just either, I think that separates the people that will carry on, because you either go, no, I'm not going to be beaten, I'm going to conquer this, I'm going to find a way of doing it, or you go, it's not for me, and you decide to, you know, explore a different a different life. So don't ever be put off. You've got to, you know, if you believe you've got something, then just absolutely go for it.
Learn how to be better. That's what you have to do. Well, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
So I feel now I can now say I know Paul Zerdin. Can I name drop just when I'm walking around and just
all right, just once.
This gentleman that's half asleep
staring at you.
Thank you very much, sir. He stayed awake through the process. I know Paul Zerdin. Oh, catch that name! Oh, there we go. Thank you very much, Paul.
My absolute pleasure.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves here at Royal Caribbean. Have a great day.
Bye.